Hey everybody, it's that time of year again. Here we are coming up at the end of October, and as with many adults, Halloween is a really cool holiday. I've had a few people tell me that Halloween is kind of like Christmas for adult kids. And I remember when I was at least a decade or so younger than I am now, I used to look forward to Halloween a great deal because it was the night you kind of got dressed up, you went out for the night, and you got to dress up in a costume, and you got to go see what other people were wearing, and what have you. And there was always a few nice-looking people out there that were wearing nice-looking costumes, if you get my drift. But regardless, as I've gotten older, though, and I'm a dad, and Halloween for me is my kids, and I really enjoy the heck out of them, and I enjoy kind of like the wonder that is Halloween for them. They get to dress up in a costume, and they get to go door to door, and they get to get a bunch of candy, and this year actually we won't be in town for Halloween. We're actually going to Walt Disney World for their Halloween celebration, which I'm really looking forward to. I've heard it's pretty awesome, and so I'm heading out that way. But before I go and before I leave on my vacation, I want to just put this video together really quick. And this doesn't have to be for just Halloween night. This can be any kind of night that you want for this kind of a theme. And these are just 5 games that, in my mind, I've played. Technically one of them I haven't because it just recently came out. But in the past, I have done like a Halloween horror-themed kind of board game night. And some of these games are games that I played with my friends. Some of these, at least one of these games is primarily what I played with my daughter. And these are fun little games that I think are good for either a spooky night of gaming or a horror night of gaming or just a Halloween night of gaming. So anyway, the first game, and this isn't in any order at all. These are just games. And I'm going to show you like 3 games that are kind of geared towards adults, and then the last 2 I'm going to show you that are geared towards kids. And those last 2, they have a kind of a gimmicks to them, and so I'll actually show you the game. But the first 3 I'm just going to kind of describe the games to you. But anyway, the first game is it has kind of like a goofy name, and it says "Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space." And this is a game from Cranial Creations, and I'm going to hold it kind of like this, and you can barely see. Like, when you look straight at the box, you can't really tell what it is. And you can barely tell what it is here, but that is a guy whose face is being eaten by an alien. And it might be tough to tell, but if you look... can you see it? Can you see it? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But anyway, this game is a team game. Some of the team are playing the good guys, and some of the team are playing the aliens. And you're trying to, if you're the aliens, you're trying to eat the humans, and if you're the humans, you're trying to escape. And just quickly, and this isn't a perfect game by any means. It definitely has some quirks to it and some issues. But for the most part, this is a game that, like, it has these maps of like this is kind of tough to tell, but it has these maps of the different like spaceships that you're in and stuff like that. And as the humans and the aliens move, they'll be using these pencils and what have you, and they're going to be trying to either escape or eat a human. And you kind of just secretly do secret moves on this map, and everybody kind of keeps track of where everybody's going and everything like that. And it gets my nod for a horror, spooky night of gaming because of the fact that it just kind of it as closely as possible embodies one of my absolute favorite horror movies of all time, Alien. And the whole idea of creeping along slowly, trying to not to make a lot of noise, and trying to outthink the horrible creature that is trying to rip out your brain and eat it. I'm a big fan of that. So the next game is a game that just recently came out. I'm going to do a review of it very soon. Well, actually, when I get back, is Dead Panic. Now, Dead Panic is a cooperative game where you and everybody else is in. Well, it's almost kind of semi-cooperative because you can abandon your friends. But when I do my review, I'll get more into that. But these are from the people that did Castle Panic, a cooperative game that I kind of gave a meh review to. But Dead Panic is a ton better than Castle Panic. Dead Panic is you're in the cabin in the woods, and the zombies are coming out of the woods, and they're trying to eat your brains. And you got to survive long enough for you to be able to race out and jump into the truck and escape. And it's full of tenacious moments and anxiety and it's for me, and I'm going to just tie this into another horror movie. For me, this game closely embodies kind of an Evil Dead game. It has some humor to it. It has some hilarious moments, but ultimately, it's fairly gripping. And is it really scary? Nah, probably not. But it definitely is very, very good. Like kind of campy, funny zombie horror movies that. There are like zombie drama movies that are like Walking Dead. There's the show the zombie drama. There are zombie funny movies like Shaun of the Dead or like the Return of the Living Dead movies. It's kind of like it's horror but it's funny and then there are like super serious. Grim zombie movies, like 28 Days Later, which fantastic movie. Just like recently the World War Z, which I didn't really like, but it was just a very serious zombie movie. And so and this I enjoy kind of the ones that have the tongue firmly in cheek kind of movies, and this kind of embodies that, and so that's why I dig this one. Last and definitely not least, and I do feel bad about even showing this off because I know this game is almost impossible to get a hold of. This is a game I'm so glad I own. Fury of Dracula. Fury of Dracula, I picked this up on the basis of a review by Scott Nicholson, and he was completely right about how great this game is. It is a wonderful one versus all game of Dracula, trying to stay one step ahead of the investigators, and has marvelous mechanisms with Dracula being able to set up traps and place things in his wake, and the investigators need to try to figure out where he's going and where he could possibly have moved to. And this is a game that I really don't. I'm kind of a jerk about it because I really don't like playing it unless I'm Dracula. I just like the idea of being able to sit there and plot out my movement. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, if you play the game Scotland Yard, there was that Jack the Ripper game. I can't even think of the name of it right now. It was like one of the best games that year, and I can't even think of the name. And that game almost made it into this list here, and it's on my shelf somewhere. Somebody will post something. I can't remember the name of it offhand. But if I had to pick one of those two games, I'd play this one. And so that is the Fury of Dracula. Now, a lot of people will say, like, oh, the original Fury of Dracula was like 7,000 times better. Well, I can't get a hold of the original Fury of Dracula. I wish I could. I'd love to play it. If somebody wants to send me their copy, I would gladly accept it. But, so I have this, and I love this, and it's still a lot of fun. Hopefully, Fantasy Flight Games will get up their butts and do a reprint of this, because it's been too long out of print. So, there you go. Alright, the next game, and these are a couple of kids' games, and like I said, they're kind of gimmicky in a little way, because they have like just to appeal to kids, but, I'm gonna have to kind of show them off a little bit, if that's okay. The first game is, Waldschattenspiel. Okay, the Shadows in the Woods. There you go. This is not really a scary movie, or a scary game by any means. This is not a spooky game by any means. But this is a game that my daughter and I love to play, and I would strongly suggest tracking this down. You can't buy this normally. because of the fact that because we are America, and because we're afraid of our kids getting hurt, and that's fine. I believe in kid safety, because one of the integral things in the game is, because it's Shadows, there's a candle that comes with the game. And I've replaced the candle in this a few times, but this is not the original candle. But there is a candle in the game, and the candle sheds light on the game, and you're supposed to play it in the dark, and that's a cool game because you're playing it in the dark, right? And that's why I think it's a fun little spooky game. And my daughter and I have played this many times, but we also try to make it a point to play it during Halloween week. But anyway, so I'm going to show you actually. I'm gonna like. I realize this is kind of like just a top 5 list, and this is kind of going on a little long. Ooh, good box fart. This is kind of going on a little long, but I've gone ahead and set this one up, and I'm going to cut away here just for a second, and then when we come back, I'm going to kind of show you the way Waldschuttenspiel looks. And then I'm going to show you how the game is played really, really briefly. Nothing special. But I just want to, I mean, it would be wrong for me to do this whole thing and then not show you just how cool the game was in the dark. Alright? So here we go. You can cover your eyes if you're scared. Alright, here he is, Waldschuttenspiel. These are the different trees. You kind of set these up randomly, and here's our candle where the light is going to be coming from. And these over here are the dwarves that are hiding from the candle. And this, I think this game is meant to be played with like lots of little kids, and so each person will have their own dwarf. But what you will do in this game is you will need to hide your dwarves in the shadows of the trees. You know, so the trees are in the circle. And to start the game, the person who is running this, and it says, have the adult run the candle, which we do. And the adult gets this cool little dowel to move the candle around. And the first thing you do is, now get ready, we're going to turn out the lights. Okay. Ooh, spooky, huh? So notice how like the lights will like shine everywhere. So I'm just going to turn the lights on a little bit just so I can place the dwarves down. And so what happens now is the kids are supposed to take their dwarves and they hide them in the hollows of the trees, like so. And so you're trying to like kind of figure out where the light will be. Now, as soon as, if the dwarves ever get light on them, what happens is they are frozen in place. And just like when you played freeze tag, if you're frozen in place, you can't move until another dwarf comes and saves you. Now, the only thing that the dwarves can move anywhere they want. So the game kind of goes in progress where so they'll set it up, and like the adult is supposed to close their eyes, and they let the kids set up wherever they want to go, and then they turn out the lights again. And so the adult doesn't know where they are, and the adult will roll a die, and it's kind of tough to see, but you can see I rolled a 4, and so then the adult will take their little dowel. You can't really see it here, but and they will go, and they get to go on this. So they go 1, and they can move 4 spaces. So they go 2, 3, 4. Now, I can kind of see this dwarf here. He showed up, and now he's stuck. And so what'll happen is that he's now frozen in the light. And I will then, after my turn is done, the adult then closes their eyes again, and everybody turns on the lights a little bit more. And now all the kids can move their dwarves wherever they want to any other hollow of a tree. And so then they can go, oh, well, I don't want to, maybe if he rolls really well, I can hide, I'll go hide back here, you know, so I'm for sure he's not going to get me. And then, you know, this dwarf can go and hide there, and so on and so forth. Now, in order to unfreeze this dwarf, they have to wait till he's in the darkness again, and then somebody else can move to his spot, and then the dwarf will be freed. So you can kind of see the game is really lighthearted. It's not really meant to be tough or difficult in any way. It's just meant to be kind of fun, and you know, for the kids to kind of just be like, oh my goodness, he's going to catch us. So we then turn out the lights again, and so we're going to go ahead and you can definitely see how just cool it looks too. And so we roll, and I only got a 1, so we'll just move this guy 1 like this. We don't see any more dwarves, and that's how the game progresses, 1 by 1. And the game ends when either the person that's controlling the candle has frozen all of the dwarves, or all of the dwarves have managed to hide in the same hollow of the same tree without being frozen. And yeah, that's how that game is played. So, you know, is it the most in-depth game I've ever played in my life? No. But is it really cool and fun to look at? Yes. And do my daughter and I really enjoy playing it? Yes. So I definitely think this is a good spooky night board game that we play. All right, so... All right, found you. All right, I'm going to go on to the next game that kind of has a gimmick that I like for spooky movie night. All right, that was Der Waldenschenfeld, The Shadows in the Woods. I should mention that if you want to get a hold of that, like I said, it is tough to get a hold of in the U.S., mostly just because, you know, we tend to like not want to give our kids candles to play with. But you can find, you can order it like an Amazon.d. I think they'll probably send it to you. I don't know for sure, but I do know that if you ask the Thor at Game Surplus, if he can get a hold of a copy for you, he definitely will. GameSurplus.com. Awesome guy, awesome website. You can definitely pick it up there. I'm not affiliated with him in any way, shape, or form. I've given the guy hundreds upon hundreds of dollars of my money to purchase games, and he's always steered me right, and he gets hold of imports a lot. So there you go. All right, the final game, I'm going to show you another kid's game, and a little gimmicky. And this is also a game that you can pick up like Time Well Spent or Game Surplus. They're Nacht der Major. Nacht der Major, Der Nacht, Die Nacht der Major. Anyway, Night of the Mages, Night of the Wizards, Night of the Witches, whatever. This is a game, it's kind of a dexterity game. And this is all about you're trying to get your piece in the middle of a game board. I'm going to show you the game board here in just a second. It's a fun little dexterity game because you just can only push the pieces on the board with your wand. I'll show that to you as well. But what's fun about the game is, well, you know what, I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to show you how this is, and yeah, that would be like, this is also, I know as I said, spooky movie night. It's spooky game night, spooky movie night. My daughter and I, we have a tradition of like, we pick a night, like pick a Saturday night, and we call it spooky movie night. And I might be the world's worst father in the world in this regard. I let her watch spooky movies because she really digs it. She really digs being scared, and she has a lot of fun. And so, you know, we snuggle up on the couch and we watch movies like Cabin in the Woods and stuff like that, you know. And you know, she's a little young. I mean, she's almost, well, she's 6.5 now, and is that I'm kind of a bad dad for doing that? I don't know, maybe, but we both understand that it's just a movie and it's okay to be scared by the movie, and then we just get through it. So read into that what you will. I don't let her watch like really violent things or like anything that you know, would have like gratuitous, you know, adult situations or anything like that. Mainly because I want to have that conversation. What are they doing, Dad? They're stuff. Why don't you go upstairs and get a glass of water? But we do watch things that are just scary. I mean, like The Possession, which was a pretty scary movie just recently. You know, things like that. So there you go. But anyway, Nacht der Major. Let's show you the game board. I'm not a bad dad. I'm an awesome dad. All right, Nacht der Major is a pretty easy game to play. It's a dexterity game, and what it is that each one of these cauldrons has a symbol on it, and those symbols are represented on these wands over here. Like you can see, this wand has a stars, and so that means that the stars are there. So the star, star, star are their cauldrons. And on your turn, what you do is you take one of your wand, you place it on the side like so, and you start pushing it towards the middle. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to move your cauldron into the spot. Now, as soon as you hear something fall off, your turn is done. And so then that is done. Now, you might say, what do you mean by hear something fall off? Well, technically, this game is supposed to be played in the dark. And these pieces are supposed to glow in the dark. And they really do glow in the dark, but the unfortunate thing is that it's not showing up real well on my camera. I tried a few things, and it's not showing up really well. So you can play the game during the light if you want, but unfortunately, no. So I'm gonna try out the lights here really quick, and hopefully this will work okay. So bear with me. And you can kind of see, my camera's doesn't want to focus in on the stuff, but you can kind of see how like everything glows in the dark. And so then the next player has to reach and find the spot. And so then they start pushing, and like I already heard something move. So the next person goes, and they heard something fall already. And the next person goes, and they're having a little better luck. And they get, oh, and I heard something fall. And so that's how the game is played. And like I said, I doubt this even worked, and I do apologize for that. But you can see how, like, I actually got this wand actually in the middle. How did that even happen? I must have screwed that up somehow. But if you'd seen it, it was really cool. So I do apologize for that. But Nacht der Magier, it's in person. Trust me, the glow in the dark shows up really, really well. But that's another like spooky night game that I play with my daughter a lot. All right, let me just sum up here real quick. I'm really sorry about how bad Nacht der Magier showed up on the camera. Trust me when I say that the glow-in-the-dark stuff really shows up really well when you're playing it in person. And the game is a heck of a lot of fun. It's a heck of a lot of fun for adults, too, just because the game is kind of tough and difficult to kind of think about where everything is and how everything moves around, because it's all very, very spatial. And you have an idea of what the board looks like, but when you're actually adjusting and moving it, it's tough to tell. So I apologize that was really awful. But I thought about leaving it out and everything like that. But you know, just bear with me. I mean, I'm not a technical guru when it comes to doing these videos, and I've definitely gotten better with each and every one that I've done. But this is the first time I've known that I'm going to be showing you something that looks pretty awful. But I wanted to stress the fact that that's like one of my daughter's favorite games, and it was one of my favorite games to play with my daughter. And so I didn't want to leave it out. I wanted you to be able to see it. And if you go someplace that you can demo it or something like that, I mean, you'll be able to see for yourself just how bright and how nice those pieces are. So, you know, there's other games out there that are horror themed that are good. Last Night on Earth is a pretty good, well, I shouldn't say pretty good. It's really good. It's a really good horror themed game, as well as Touch of Evil, another game by Flying Frog Games. I find both games to be really enjoyable, though. Those games kind of bog down a little bit for me with the mechanics, and so I didn't really include them here, and because I don't know, it just seems like with both of those games, well, very, very fun games. They're very fiddly. They have a lot of little rules and things like that, and this was an idea that I had for, you know, just fun, quick games to play. Now, an argument can be made that Fury of Dracula has a lot of fun, little fiddly stuff and things like that, but I don't know, that game is just way too fun and way too tense and way too exciting for me and the people I play with, for me not to include as far as a really good horror theme night. Arkham Horror, I didn't pick that, even though it's my favorite game, just because Arkham Horror is not really a horror game to me. It's a bleak narrative short story to me. So, and I never really found Lovecraft to be very, very much a horror writer. I always just kind of pictured him more of a Edgar Allan Poe type, which I never really took as being horror either. He was just kind of like a guy who wrote about really grim stuff, and so that's how I saw that. Other zombie games like Zpocalypse, Zombicide, things like that. Those are way too much of a simulation for me. Things like that. I'm trying to think. You know, I thought about like Catacombs, which is really good, but that's more fantasy. And I'm just, what was the other game I was thinking of? And I don't own it anymore. Oh, Castle Ravenloft, which, you know, also kind of has a nice horror, you know, dungeony, Dracula, zombies, mummies kind of thing. But once again, more of a role-playing game experience, more of a simulation thing than a pure, like, horror-themed type of game. So there you go. You know, those are just my takes, my personal feelings, my personal whatevers about you know, what I found to be like, you know, just fun games to play on like a spooky game night, or Halloween if you're planning on having people over at your house to play board games. So yeah, so enjoy your Halloween, be safe, be kind, be good to the kiddies that show up. Be that house that gives the full-size candy bars that everybody talks about. You know, that mythical house that they're giving out the full-sizers. You want to be that guy. You want to be that person. Carve a jack-o'-lantern. You know, and cook the pumpkin seeds, man. Those are really tasty. You know, put some Worcestershire sauce on those, and they come out really well. But other than that, don't forget to realize that yes, this Halloween is a very, very fun Halloween for the big kids in us. But remember, it is for the kids. And so have the spooky house, have the cool music, have the flickering lights, and definitely come to the door dressed up in a spooky monster costume. But don't forget to have the giant bowl of candy. And yeah, because Halloween is the one night of the year that you can it's good to be scared. It's fun to be scared. But anyway, you take care of yourself. Have an awesome Halloween. And when I get back from my trip, I'll dive right back into the videos. And we got more, lots of more on tap. So adios. And thank you very much for watching this. Bye-bye now. Happy Halloween!